You're the reason why I smile. Hey, you pick me up when I am. That's when you play when you're strong. Got so much that I need so. Jesus, 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 Jesus. All the praise belong to you. Wake up in the morning, know the best of sin. Blessings in the Lord, and the story for me. Hey. Hey. I come on for a few minutes just to set that tone, set the atmosphere, and we're going to get started in a minute. It's you. You're the reason why I smile. You pick me up when I am. Hey. So I ain't put no water in my mug, but it's okay. Got one more minute. We're going to get rocking and rolling. I'm excited about tonight's topic because I'm still struggling with it. So yeah, we're going to have a good time tonight because I'm still struggling with this topic. And not really struggling, but I'm still growing through it. I'm growing through it. Definitely growing through it. Y'all come on in here. Yes. Come through, audience. Audience. Yes. We about to get started just now. Hey, hello, beautiful people. Yes. Hey, Dips. All right, Dusk. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Yes, we're going to get rocking and rolling. It is that time. Alexa, volume 2. Greetings, everyone. Greetings, greetings to you all. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Y'all, I have been having a hard day. Yesterday was a hard day for me, okay? Yesterday was a real hard day for me, and I'm going to get into that just now. My day is going, it's better. It's definitely better. Me waking up on this side of life is definitely better. So thank you for asking. So let us get started. Let us get rocking and rolling because like I said before, this is a topic that I had to dive into this topic because it's one that I'm still, I'm still on the potter's wheel about. So first I want to say welcome to everybody. Welcome to Chronicles of a Broken Churchgirl podcast. Thank you for being here with me for episode not 1, 2, but 3. So welcome to you all. Thank you for coming in. My name is Sister Femi, and I want to tell you that this podcast is a safe place to talk about, to explore emotional and spiritual healing through difficult conversations, okay? Through difficult conversations. So first and foremost, I want to say I'm paying homage today. This conversation, I'm paying homage today to a queen that is going on to be with the ancestors. She left us yesterday physically, but I know she's here spiritually. And it really hit me pretty harder than I thought it would. And not even that I, foresaw somebody going and becoming an ancestor, but Nikki Giovanni, Queen Nikki Giovanni, I want to pay homage to her today. Because yeah, when I got the news last night, I kid you not, my eyes, I was tearing. I was tearing. I was tearing. And in the process of that, it dawned on me that in my production days of doing event production, that I met her. I had a 10-minute, I want to say 11-minute conversation with her. And in those days, I wasn't thinking about giving her my information or me getting her information to continue. I think I was just very honored to have had that moment with her. Okay. And it was funny because it was very pertinent information that she shared with me, which was basically to keep using my voice, because I used to write poetry a lot when I was younger. And she told me to keep using my voice no matter what. Even though this world is a noisy place, keep using my voice, because my voice will one day be heard by those who it can help. And when I found out last night, I was like, oh my God, no. And so, I pay homage to her today because it's through her words of encouragement along my journey that has me where I am now, being able to continue to use my voice. And I shared on my Facebook one of my favorite poems that she wrote called Choices. And I'm going to give the episode title, and then I'm going to read the poem because I did it and I shared it in my stories, but I'm going to read it here because it plays a big toll on our episode for today. Okay. So today's episode, in the midst of when we always try to figure out how we ended up where we ended up, in pain and in brokenness and places of unhealthy thinking, and how we deal and relate with other people. Today's episode is called The Role of Miscommunication in Spiritual Pain, Giving Grace in a Space of Pain. Okay? So now you see why me reading this poem of choices is going to play a big part, because I told you all, and I keep reiterating it, that the life that we are living, we need to be living it intentionally. Okay? Alexa, volume 2. Alexa, volume 1. Okay, so Alexa, volume 1. So Choices by Nikki Giovanni. If I can't do what I want to do, then my job is to not do what I don't want to do. It's not the same thing, but it's the best I can do. If I can't have what I want, then my job is to want what I've got and be satisfied that at least there is something more to want. Since I can't go, then I must go where the signs point, though always understanding parallel movement, it isn't lateral. When I can't express what I really feel, I practice feeling what I can express, and none of it is equal, I know. But that's why mankind alone among the animals learns to cry. That's homage to Nikki Giovanni. That's homage to Nikki Giovanni. All right. So now we're going to get into this. We're going to get into this context of communication and grace in a space of the pain. And the scripture that I brought to was, let your conversation be always full of grace, seasoned with salt. That's out of Colossians 4:6, right? So in this, we're going to uncover how miscommunication how it impacts us, and how it can leave scars behind, and how we can heal from those things and not let them hinder our spiritual growth. Now, when I started, I said that for me, this is a place where I'm still dealing with it, because I can't even lie. I can pinpoint some relationships right now that I know that when I do go and speak to people, it's going to have to be with witness. It's going to have to be with witness, because miscommunication isn't just always about what's said. We've heard it time and time again. Sometimes it's about how things are said, the tone in which it was said, the timing in which it was said. It's not always, and I fall short with that with my husband a lot, in terms of sometimes I just give him the wrong information at the wrong time, and he's just trying to figure it out, like, where did that come from? And the same for him to me. And I'm like, where did that come from? So in that, what we have to understand is that the first part is to acknowledge the miscommunication. Acknowledge that miscommunication is possible with everybody and anybody. Now, before I go too far, what I want to interject is, as I'm growing this podcast, I'm going to be making some altering changes here and there. And so I actually added a segment later that I don't want you to miss out on. For those of you who know me, I'm big on African natural lifestyle and healing through teas and the natural gifts that God has given us through the earth, and through understanding where we play a part in how it helps us heal the total self and existence of who we are. So I've got a segment that I'm going to share something, and that's going to be, it's basically going to be giving you the tea. Okay, that's going to be the name of that segment, called Giving You the Tea. So be prepared for giving you the tea, and I'll let you know when to get your pen and paper together if you don't already have it. All right. So here, when it comes down to miscommunication, a lot of times that those things and those times when that happens, it puts us in a place of feeling not only distant from a person, but it could also leave us feeling distant from God, distant from our higher being, our creator, and even distance from our family members and from our friends, from our siblings, from everybody else. It can kind of make you feel isolated, especially when people may not understand where you're coming from when there's a miscommunication, not just when somebody's giving it to you. Now, remember, I'm all about accountability. Everything on here is really about accountability and how to handle yourself with when you're been the person that handled the miscommunication, when you were giving something in a wrong manner, as well as when you're receiving something. Okay, so I don't want you to think this is a one-sided highway. No, it's not. It's a two-sided highway. But right now, the words that I'm giving to you are coming to me, and they're given to you. Okay. So now, I've had situations, and I'm just going to relate this back because, again, Chronicles of a Broken Churchgirl. I relate more to that because I got hurt on the street a lot. I did. Yet in my most vulnerable places, I got hurt a lot in the church. Okay, I'm not even gonna front. For the amount of times that I got hurt in the church, I could have been one of those people that go, I'm not going back to church no more. You understand me? But I understand why I go to church. I understand what my obedience level is to God, to my creator, in terms of going to church. So this is why I know no pain, no hurt can stop me from going, because quiet as it's kept and as loud as it needs to be said, the hurt and the pain that we endure is a matter of growth. It's to help us grow, okay? It's not to leave us stagnant. It's not to separate us from the good, the bad. No, it's to help us grow. So I'm never going to run from a church building, because his word says we gather, okay? We gather to be around the saints. We gather. So that's what I believe in. But I have grown, and I believe that if I did not take the step inside of that community, I would have not experienced the level of growth that I have been able to experience. That don't mean I done reached the pinnacle. No, I have not. But this is why I'm here to share that with you now, okay? So for me, I have a situation right now. I can pinpoint my finger on it, and I give no names because I'm legally, I know how to cover bases, okay? But I give no names because the truth to the matter is, if it affects me, it affects other people as well. And I came back. It's funny. This is after the pandemic. I came back to church and went in, and I purposely did not go in gung-ho to do the work, because I knew what reprieve I had with the pandemic, right? That's a whole nother conversation. So we're going to stick a pin in that. But I came back, and the people, they were there, they were loving, they were receiving. And then there were some people there that I saw that stepped up into different roles and things of that sort. And you know how you come across somebody who they're good while they ain't got no title, right? They good while they ain't got no title. But the minute they get a title, things might change a little bit in their characteristics, might change a little bit in the structure or how they deal with people. And I had a situation where I was supporting someone before they got an actual title. And in the process of getting the title, I got sideswiped. I got sideswiped with some miscommunication that didn't come directly to me, but I found out about it, and it kind of hurt my feelings. You know what I mean? Because the one thing people know, I don't vouch for nobody that ain't 100, and it hurt my feelings because I was like, whoa, wait up, hold up. All I've been doing has been a guiding light, right? And so I shut down. Now, this is my personal story. I shut down first to protect myself, because although I'm still saved, although I still, I walk and I talk God, I do pray to turn over the table, Jesus. I turn to pray. I believe that's the one I go to. I'll be like, all right, Jesus, I know you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? I know you understand, right? Yet in the same token, we have to hold ourselves accountable. And so it was funny because God dealt with me. He dealt with me and he was like, so yeah, you opened up your mouth and you spoke on this person's behalf and they showed you that you shouldn't have, because you should have sat back and watched. You should have sat back and waited, because there's changes that take place that you may not never see coming. Because guess what? You believe a person to be 100 until they get a title and they turn out to be 75. And then you be like, oh my goodness, how did that happen? That was on me. That was my choice. That was my decision. That was my wrong, how can I say it? My misinterpretation. Hello, somebody. I jumped the proverbial gun, if you will. Yet in that, I knew that I could not walk around and not talk to this person, even in cordiality, because I still believe in being cordial. Even if I can't be your friend anymore, I'm going to be cordial, because that's what God calls me to do. I'm not going to ever act like you're not alive. Now, my ignore game is very strong. It's very strong. I kid you not, because that's how I've kept my happy disposition. I've kept my joyous disposition, knowing how to ignore those things that don't add to me, but take away from me. So I've learned how to do that. Yet in the same token, I'm also called to be an example of how to become and to be. So as a leader in a church, right, I have to set an example. So I set the example by being cordial. I may not be able to, and I still have not spoken directly in terms of about it, because again, I need a witness. Because there's some people you will find as you are traveling this way that you cannot have a one-on-one conversation with them, because it will never turn out positive. And why I say it will never turn out positive is some people you cannot talk to without a witness. Okay, you must have a witness around, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Okay, but you have to know for yourself. Okay, so now in the space of grace, I want to be cordial. In the space of grace, I want to say, hey, I don't want to walk around with a nasty attitude. I don't want to, every time I see this person, I'm turning up my nose, or I turn the other face like I don't want to act like I see them, because that's not what I'm called to do. I'm called to sit in a better seat, okay? Because if I've got God dwelling in me, if I'm made in the image of my Creator, that is not what we're supposed to be doing. So I want to be an example. Now, don't get it twisted. My cordiality does not mean an openness to friendship. It just means I'm going to be cordial. I'm going to be respectful of the space that God continues to allow you, because you just never know when your prayers are going to be answered for that person to be healed from their self situation, because that's within themselves. It's not about me, it's within themselves. But you never know when God is going to answer that prayer for them. So you want to still leave the door open. Yet I'm a firm believer, if your disrespect is loud, so should your apology. Your apology needs to be louder. I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm still being worked on in this area. Okay? So this is not an area where I have it all put together. No, we're not even going to act like perpetrating no kind of fraud. No, we're going to tell it for what it is, and no shame in my game. There's always grace that can be put in the space of pain. So with that, when we say grace, right? And like I said, I read it where it says, let your conversation be always full of grace and seasoned with salt, right? Grace reminds us to be empathetic to people, because you just never know what kind of day that person has had. You never know what kind of, hey, cuz, you just never know how, what they may be going through. You never know where they might be finding themselves. You just never know. And so this is where grace comes in. Not be sympathetic, but empathetic, where you stand outside and say, well, that could be me. You know, that could be me. That could have been my situation. I wasn't always a good leader. You know what I mean? I can't lie. I've been pretty good. I'm not gonna front. I'm hard. Now don't get it twisted. I'm hard, and the reason why I say I've been pretty good, because one, I never wanted to take the space of being a leader. For one, I always loved sitting in a seat of humility and servitude and never being that go-to person. Yet I can even remember when I was a supervisor at 20 somebody years old, where I did that job. I did that job where I had my coworkers, my old coworkers, hit me up and go, yo, you were the best supervisor I ever had. And I thank God for that. Okay. Because that ain't of no goodness or greatness of myself, but it's to know what good leadership looks like. Right. So you still want to empathize with people, because not everybody is as seasoned as we are. Not everybody is as equipped as we are with certain things in life and certain levels in life. So you want to give them a space of grace, okay? Now, why this is called grace in a space of pain is because it hurts. It hurts when we can't have our kumbaya moments with everybody. You know what I mean? It hurts. And because that hurts, this is where you got to give grace in that space, and it will heal some of that pain. It will heal that pain more than you even realize, right? Now, salt, right? Salt represents preservation and truth. So you tell your truth, but it's about preserving, because nobody can get mad at you for telling the truth. No one can ever they can not like the truth, but they can't hold it a grudge against you because of the truth that you share. You understand what I'm saying to you? The truth that you share, truth is truth no matter what. It may not be honey. It may not be, how can I put it, sugar coated, but it's truth. And everyone needs to hear the truth no matter what. Okay? So this is what that scripture is talking about. So there are practical steps that you can take, that we can take when we want to deal with and handle levels of miscommunication. Okay? And those steps are, and God, y'all forgive me for any background noise that you may hear, because right now I'm in a space of grace. Okay? You got to pause before you respond to situations. Okay? You got to pause. And I can tell you, for me, with this one particular situation that I shared, when I understood, when I understood the backstabbingness that took place, I stopped myself and I continued to move in a space. How can I put it? I went to professional. And I went to professional because professional communication to me is my safe space. Professional communication is my safe space. And when I can communicate professionally, I know that it's not about an emotion. It's not about like or dislike. It's about really being logical, respectful, and professional in my dealings. Because we all know true business is not about emotions. True business is calculated, logistical behavior. And that's what I gave. And that's what I give. Because that's how I protect me from doing something or saying something or feeling a way that I shouldn't feel, shouldn't do, and shouldn't act upon. Okay? So that's the first thing. Then I want to seek clarification. Okay. So in my quiet and stillness, I'm going to seek the clarification, as you should seek clarification in the miscommunication that you're experiencing with somebody. Because, for example, I can remember when pre-pandemic, I can remember when the pastor at the time had asked me to do some extra work or do something. And I got frustrated because I was like, whoa, I'm doing a lot already. Right. And in the process of doing a lot already, I started to back away, and only to communicate with the pastor to find out what they were telling me to do was not take on more responsibility, but to actually seek assistance from other people to get the job done. Okay. So that's seeking clarification in miscommunication. Right. And then you want to acknowledge the emotional pain. You don't want to act like it didn't bother you. You don't want to act like it didn't hurt. Okay, acknowledge that pain, acknowledge that hurt, and then see and understand why it did that. Because quiet as it's kept, at the undersurface of it, you'd be surprised. It could be your expectation. I talked about this last week, your expectation of how that person should have either behaved or communicated with you. Or it could be the root of something that you've actually experienced from somebody else, right? From somebody else. And in that, you're like, oh, wait, as they call it, a trigger. Oh my goodness, that bothered me. And it wasn't so much that it was so heavy on them, but it was heavier on you. Okay. And that's just like in the situation. It was heavier on me because I was like, whoa, I was vouching for you. And you took the proverbial and did me dirty. You know what I'm saying? So again, you got to acknowledge the emotional pain that it created. Okay. And then you want to apologize and reconcile. Now, that one is the one I'm stuck on that level right there because I have not done the communication yet like I want to do with a witness, like I want to do, like I'm called to do. I just haven't done it yet, but I ain't saying I ain't gonna do it. I'm just saying, because what you want to do is you want to get into a space of total healing. You know, me moving in consideration of this person is very nice of me. It's standoffish for them because they still know it's not the same free spirit that I used to ordinarily be. But I can't be that because the trust factor has dwindled down. But it will happen. I'm sure it will, because of who I serve. I serve a God that brings truth and honesty to the forefront. I just need a witness. I just need a witness because I know me. You know, I know me. I know how I come across. I know how people can use my leverage of, I'm not even going to call it aggressiveness, but assertiveness. Okay, because I walk with an assertiveness that I'm okay with, but it might make somebody else feel a different kind of way. You know what I mean? So there's nothing wrong. This is where mediation came in. This is where having a mediator comes in. This is where having someone that you see or view as a wise counsel in the midst of the situation to be able to help make everyone be healed and whole in it. You know what I mean? And then practice active listening, active understanding. And then maybe sometimes practicing active listening means you be quiet. You say nothing. You watch. You watch as well as pray. Okay? You watch as well as pray. And say nothing because it's okay not to say anything. Again, I've watched some of the most powerful people be quiet. Be quiet. I learned during the pandemic something called sacred silence. Sacred silence doesn't mean you just be quiet, but you go in and you tap in and you ask God to show you. Open up your ears, open up your heart, open up your mind, your crown to your understanding so that you can truly, genuinely understand what's going on around you, what is happening in the situation or the circumstances that you might have found yourself in. Okay? So I'm going to do a quick shout out. Okay. I'm going to do a quick shout out to this here. As you can see, it's called Mentally Wealthy. Okay. As you all have seen, I'm trying to support those who I know I have supported and have given me, who I bought things that actually support my brand, support who I am. Mentally Wealthy. We want to become mentally wealthy. She is on social media. She's on Instagram, and I was waiting for her tag so that I can send you all there if you want to grab one of these amazing t-shirts. Okay. I'm going to look and see, did I ever get it? I did not get it. I did not get it. And it's okay. But Mentally Wealthy, I will post her link in this video once it's all wrapped up. Okay. But if anybody wants to get one of these, I'll do that there. Okay. So what we want to do as we're growing in this space of grace, I want to remind you that this is something that we're gradually going to have to build on. This is not something we're just going to get right away. Okay, this is something we have to build on. Once you acknowledge it and hold yourself accountable to it, then you build on it. Okay, you build on that. Because for me, even with the pastor, that was a miscommunication, and that left me in a space of being overwhelmed because I was working my bones off in the church. I was working my high bones off in the church, and I couldn't understand why this person was asking me for more. But in the miscommunication of it, it wasn't that they were asking me for more to carry on my shoulders, but they were asking me for more to be able to at least say to somebody else, help me. This is what I need help in doing and getting done. And that's what I was. And so when that happened, I was able to breathe. You know what I mean? I was able to really breathe and go, oh, okay, whew, that's not what I thought at first, but that's what it ended up being. So a lot of times miscommunication could be our lack of clarity of understanding where this person was coming from. Okay. So my affirmation, and I want to give an affirmation. Okay. The affirmation. And if you want to write it down, let me know you want to write it down, and I will actually put it, it'll be in here for you to be able to respond back to it. Okay. All right. So here we go. The affirmation is, I release the need to always be right. Okay? I release the need to always be right. My words are vessels of grace, and my heart is open to understanding others. With God's guidance, with my Creator's guidance, with Inter's guidance, I am building bridges, not walls. Okay, and that's an affirmation. So please, for those of you who are on here, please subscribe, like, and share this podcast. But that is the affirmation. And again, I'm going to leave it in the description of this episode so you can come back to it and copy and paste it. Okay, so it will be there and it will be available to you once this goes live. Okay, once this goes up on recording. So that's something that you can share. I'm going to be saying this affirmation for myself on a daily basis. Again, I release the need to always be right. My words are vessels of grace, and my heart is open to understanding others. With God's guidance, with my Creator's guidance, with Inter's guidance, I am building bridges, not walls. Now, let me say something to you because this dropped in my spirit as I was reading this affirmation. There are ways that people will try to manipulate when you share that you are giving grace. So be mindful who you share with, okay? Because manipulation is real. Okay, so be mindful of that and make sure that you're tapped in so that you can be guided in the right direction when the time is right. Jesus didn't just turn up the table just to be turning up the table. There have been plenty of warnings ahead of time. There have been plenty of grace that took place. Okay, so be mindful as you're going through and as you listen to my podcast, as you're understanding how to find these places of grace in the space of pain. Be mindful, okay? Be mindful of those things, because if you see them for obvious mistakes towards you, know them for what they are. And remember, it's not necessarily the person, because the battle is not with a person. It's about the spirits and the principalities that are trying to destroy us, try to destroy our families, try to destroy our friendships, try to destroy our communities. It's a spiritual battle. This is not about the persons. This is not about the people. This is a spiritual battle, always trying to work against what God is trying to build up, what our Creator is trying to build up, what is being manifested on our behalf. It is a spiritual thing. It is not a physical thing. So don't go around smacking people or closing doors in people's face and cussing people out. And no, that is not what you are called to do. This is a spiritual battle. So this is why when I share this information, I'm coming from the Word of God. I'm coming from a spiritual place. I'm not coming from a carnal place. I'm coming from the carnal place on how to handle it and deal with it, because we are spiritual beings in our natural bodies. in the flesh and the blood, but the actual battle that's taking place is spiritual. Okay? So don't get it twisted by anything that I share with you. It is a very much a spiritual thing. In the same way that God, we understand that we could be tapped into our Creator, tapped into Allah, tapped into Entur. Okay, and these are all the names of God. Okay, we tapped in. Just know there's a spiritual battle still trying to take us out. Okay, all right. So now here is, I'm giving you the tea. Okay, not the kind of tea you think, but I'm giving you the tea. So I'm big on drinking a lot of herbal teas. I'm big on taking a lot of natural substances and making them work for me, the holistic well-being of my body, my family's body, my friend's body, anybody's body. Okay, so for today, it's to calm the spirit. This particular okay, this particular herbal tea recipe that I'm going to share with you, so you get your pen and your paper. This particular one is to help you in the calming of your spirit. Okay, in the calming of where you might find yourself when you find yourself edgy, where you might find yourself a little off balance and off kiltered. Okay, so this is the ingredients for this is lemon balm, chamomile, peppermint, and a pinch of rosemary. Now, when I do my tea bags, I always do half a teaspoon, half a teaspoon, half a teaspoon, half a teaspoon, and it said a pinch of rosemary. So y'all know what a pinch look like, okay? A pinch of rosemary. Now, I do like to go to the herbal stores. I do like to order my teas and my herbs. I like to order them raw. I don't like to have them processed. I like to have them raw, where most of the time I get them, I'm getting them by the pound, half a pound, and I'm getting them raw because I like to make my own tea bags. There is a brand or two in the store that I know is not high on the processing level of having preservatives and things of that in there. Do your own research, do your own homework. I'm not co-signing any of them because they're not a sponsor, but I'm just telling you, do your homework, okay? But this particular recipe is lemon balm, chamomile, peppermint, and a pinch of rosemary, okay? So lemon balm promotes the calmness and mental clarity. Okay, that's what lemon balm does. All right, chamomile reduces stress and fosters a sense of peace. Okay, so remember again, this recipe is for the calming of your spirit. Okay, then we have the peppermint, which refreshes the mind. All right, and it aids in your focusing. Okay, that's the peppermint. And then we have the rosemary, which enhances our memory, and it also sharpens the thought processes. All right, so now the other thing, just to let you know, I like to use a base of oolong tea. Now, oolong tea is an Asian-based tea, and I love using oolong because oolong has antioxidant properties in it, and it just helps the whole vitality of the body. So I will do my tea combinations with 1 teaspoon of oolong, okay, and then a half a teaspoon of these others. And what you do is you bring your water to a boil, okay, and then you place your tea bag in there. I could tell you, never really boil your tea bags in the tea itself. Can you put it in the chat at the end? I sure can. I will definitely align it. It'll be in the description once this video goes live, once YouTube uploads the saved recording. I will make sure to come back to the description and put it all in there, so it will be in there. The affirmation, you are welcome, beautiful. The affirmation and the tea, okay? And basically what you're going to do, you're going to combine them, but never boil your tea in the actual boiling of the water. Let your water get to that boil state and then put your tea bag in there, okay? And once you put your tea bag in there, let it steep. If you've ever heard steep, steep means let it stay in there, okay? Just in case if you don't know what steep means let it stay in there for about a good 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, let it stay in there for about 15 minutes. I like to steep mine for maybe 30. Okay, just because I like to get all of whatever that tea has in it out for me in that water. And I would say use 16 ounces, about 16 ounces to 20 ounces of water. So like one of those water bottles that we get from the store, that's the size water that you want to use for this. And you can have this in one shot, or you can do it in two at 8 ounces each. Okay. And sweeten it with honey at your own. Okay. I use honey or stevia. Okay. Honey or stevia. All right. And then what you do when you're sipping your tea, reflect on what it is you're trying to calm yourself out of. Reflect on that space of grace. Reflect on that. Meditate on that. Take a minute just to stop, enjoy that tea, see how it tastes. Feel the freshness of it. Feel the refreshingness of it. Okay? And enjoy that moment of just being still and meditating on that goodness in that cup. Okay? And so this is what my me giving you the tea is going to be all about. This is what this segment is about. So every week you will get a tea recipe from me. I will give you a tea recipe, and then eventually you will see that this it really works. It really, really works in the calming of your spirit, because a lot of times when we get immediately, our defenses and our reflex is to want to respond to whatever jolted us out of that place of comfort and that place of joy and peace. And what you want to learn how to do is you want to learn how to try to get back there. Get back there so you can get true understanding as to how to deal with your situations and how to handle the miscommunication and how to be able to bask in the space of grace and not have to worry and be stuck in a place of pain. And what you will find is growth. You will find spiritual growth in this area for yourself. Okay? You will find spiritual growth in this for yourself, because this is what it's all about. Being able to mature spiritually, you need to be able to see these things and walk yourself through them and talk yourself through them and actually be intentional while you're in them. Okay, you need to be intentional while you're in them. Intentional for your own healing, intentional for healthy relationships, to build healthy spaces in the community surrounding you. Okay, you need to be able to do that for yourself. You don't need to run to somebody to help you figure that out. I can tell you, I'm trying to give you some tools. There are a lot of tools out there, but I'm here to give you some shortcut tools on how to be able to do it, because I know for a fact they've worked for me. Okay, they have worked for me. So I'm not saying 100% guaranteed to work for you, but I'm saying give it a try, because you just don't know. You just don't know. It may do exactly what I'm telling you it could possibly do for you. Okay? So that we know, miscommunication can create wounds, but grace-filled words can create healing. Okay? Miscommunication can create wounds, but giving a space of grace can create a space of healing. Okay? So make sure you all come back to the recorded version. Now, does anybody have any questions for me pertaining to anything that I have shared? Okay, please let me know. I didn't open up in my prayer like I usually do, but I'm definitely going to close out in prayer. Okay, because I usually like to open up in prayer, but I was so hyped to know that I was given this particular topic. Okay, because this particular topic I'm still working on. Still working on me. Still working on me. Believe that. Believe that. Still working on me. Let me see if I can see. If I can see. Did I get any? Yes. You want to? Okay, Shannon, I'm going to definitely bring that back. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. That's too bad for you. I see I had a troller on here. I had a troller on here. Okay. You see that? Lord, I tell you. But grace. I give everybody grace. Yes, please put it. I sure will. I sure will, beautiful. I sure will. I most definitely will. Okay, I most definitely will. So I want to say, so for anybody, listen, yes, self-love, but it builds self-love. It definitely builds self-love, cuz thank you for that, big cuz. It definitely builds, because some people don't even realize. Yes, yes, yes. Sounds like having a base of self-love sets us up to be able to refresh the spirit to love others. Yes, very much so. Because I don't know, a lot of times people think they love themselves when in actuality they really don't. They really don't. But yes, that's exactly what it does. Thank you, Big Cuz, for that. Thank you, Big Cuz, for that. All right? Very much so. So I am going to, so for you all in your own personal time, when you say your prayers, ask God to give you grace. Ask God to show you where you can exercise grace more in your life. Okay? It's the, yes, very much so, the entrance to maturity. Okay? We might be X, Y, Z age, but that does not mean we have matured spiritually the way that we're called to and need to. Okay? That is definitely very much so. So ask for praying of healing in strained relationships, whether that be with family members, with friends, with associates, with co-workers, with your children. Hello, somebody, with your parents. Okay? With anyone who you know that you may have had a falling out with, that a miscommunication with, that needs a place of healing. That doesn't mean go running up to go be their friend, but there needs to be a place of healing. I got a prime example of another situation that I endured. When I was much younger, I was pregnant, and a very good friend of mine, she and I got into a space of where we were going to physically have an altercation. And so many years had passed by after this had happened, and it always bothered my spirit because we were real good friends before a third party was involved, right? And it always bothered me, right? Yet, in the same token, I always prayed for her. I always hoped that she understood that I was sorry for that altercation that took place. Now, mind you, I was pregnant and I was ready to go toe to toe just because I was very hot headed, right? But in the same token, it was a true, genuine friendship that we had because we were growing up together. You know what I mean? And I thank God for Facebook because, you know, some people cry about social media. I find a lot of good in social media, okay? So I thank God for Facebook that we were able to have a moment where we were in each other's inboxes, apologizing to each other for the altercation and all those various things like that. And we have gotten to a space of being able to be so cordial and back to being loving with each other, because not only has so many years passed us by, but we knew we held ourselves accountable for it. We both held ourselves accountable for it. And so it's like you have to understand that these things happen, yet you don't have to be stuck. And if something is panging at your spiritual self, so much so, you may need to go into prayer to ask God why. Because there's healing. There's healing in understanding what it is you're called to do in situations that you played a part in. Okay? Where you played a part in. So, before I go into what I'm going to do is make an announcement about the next podcast. The next podcast is Why Forgiveness Feels So Hard. Okay? That's going to be next Tuesday. Okay? Now, if anybody on here is interested in being a guest on here, let me know. Hit me up. Say it, leave it in the comments. I want to be a guest, and I'll reach out to you. However we can. You can reach me on a lot of my links on various social media platforms and things of that sort. Send me a message. Okay. Thank you for mentally wealthy. There you go. So as you can see, there is mentally wealthy. Okay. She is a good friend of my daughter. Okay. Oh, say less. I got you. She is a very good friend of my daughter. And this is her brand, Mentally Wealthy. And yes, we want to be mentally wealthy. Where is it that we don't want to have Having wealth is not about always a tangible. It's about a peace. A peace. Because I want to be able to jump into that peace that surpasses all understanding anytime I feel like I'm getting sideswiped by life. Okay? That to me is mental wealth. Okay? So if anybody would like a t-shirt to support her brand, she's on there, and I will put the link again in the description of this podcast, okay? But let us pray real quick. I want to pray with us real quick so that we can pray out. Heavenly Father, I thank you right now, precious Creator, for who you are in our lives, Lord. I thank you for not only us knowing who we are, but understanding whose we are. I thank you for allowing us to see and have this space in the use of technology. You know how I feel about the use of technology. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you that we can use it for our good, that we can use it to connect with those who are like us, that we can use it to connect, to be able to grow in our spiritual maturity with one another, that your word can come through, that we can be used to help others that might need some guidance, might need some tools on understanding how to just get through this thing called life. I want to say thank you. I thank you for this podcast. I thank you for allowing me to be a healed broken church girl. I'm not moving in my brokenness anymore, but I'm moving in my healing. And I thank you for having everybody that has come on to this live stream to be healed in their own right, in their spaces, and that they can find grace in their space of pain. And please bless their households, bless anyone who catches this on a replay, and continue to bless us and bless this podcast as we go forward. It's in Jesus' awe-inspiring name that I pray. Ashe, amen, amen. So thank you for being here with me. I don't take it lightly, okay, that you took the time to be here and have chosen to spend this time with me. All right. My hope is that each episode touches each and every one of y'all, touches me even more, and protects us, keeps us protected to know how to fight against this spiritual warfare that we got going on. Because this is spiritual warfare nonetheless. All right. So grab your favorite drinks. All right. Find a quiet corner and let's do the hard work of the holy healing that we are called to do. All right. So Ashe, Ashe-o. Peace and blessings, everybody. Thank you again for being here with me on my podcast. I am Sister Femi. Thanks for sharing. Come on. Thank you, cuz. I am Sister Femi of Chronicles of a Broken Church Girl. Again, thank you for being here with me, and I hope to see you next Tuesday.